My brother and I were both 15 when we first saw something we couldn't explain. Something that, even now, refuses to make sense no matter how many times we replay it in our minds. For the longest time, we just called it the alien. We had no other name for it, no better way to describe what we saw that night. We grew up in a rural part of Michigan, isolated enough to be unnerving after dark, but not so far removed that we didn't have neighbors scattered a ways down the road. Farmland and dense, quiet woods surrounded most of our area, a patchwork of empty cornfields and gnarled trees that always seemed too still at night. This was back when Call of Duty was still in its prime, before it all went stale. We used to sink hours into it, just two kids wired on soda and adrenaline, playing late into the night with the glow of the screen lighting up our dark room. We also played airsoft whenever we could, collecting gear and talking tactics like we were part of some elite unit. I had a decent setup with black tactical gear, and my brother had a full ghillie suit that he spent weeks modifying with twine, burlap, and bits of brush. It was sometime around 2 a.m. when boredom hit us. The game was getting stale, and we needed something real, something to spike our blood a little. On a whim, we decided to sneak out and do a mock night raid up the road, just to see how stealthy we could be, getting out of the house and into the dark without waking our parents. We grabbed our gear, loaded up with walkie-talkies for communication, and each took one side of the dead-end gravel road that led past our house and up toward the open farmland half a mile away. I was on the right side of the road, dressed in black and sticking to the ditch line. My brother, fully suited in his ghillie, moved through the sparse cover along the left, where the woods pressed close to the edge. The night was silent in that peculiar way rural nights often are. No wind, no crickets, just stillness, like the whole world was holding its breath. We were giggling into the calms like idiots, congratulating ourselves on being so sneaky. It was all just harmless fun, until it wasn't. We were maybe a quarter of the way up the road, when something shifted, something subtle, but instantly wrong. I glanced towards the tree line on my brother's side, dark silhouettes of trees fading into deeper shadows behind them. But something there wasn't right. It took me a few seconds to register it. At first, I thought it might be a trick of the eyes. Then my stomach dropped. There was something standing behind the trees, something too tall, something still. I squinted hard, heart hammering in my chest. It wasn't moving, just standing there, lanky, distorted. I could make out all the details, but one thing that burned itself into my brain were the eyes. Red, not glowing like an animal's eyes, catching a bit of light, no. These were unnatural. They burned like twin embers, locked directly onto my brother. I tried to stay calm as I pressed the button on the walkie. "Hey, move to my side of the road," I said. He hesitated, confused. "Why?" "Just do it now, please," I said. Something in my voice must have cut through the confusion, because he didn't ask again. I heard his feet crunch against the gravel as he sprinted across to me. A shadow breaking from the trees, he reached me, panting slightly, and I opened my mouth to warn him, to tell him what I had seen, but I didn't need to. His eyes locked onto the spot where he'd just been standing. He froze. The color drained from his face. "Dude," he whispered, not looking away. "What the hell is that?" That confirmed it. We were both seeing it. This wasn't some shared delusion or sleep-deprived hallucination. It was real, right there, just beyond the edge of the woods. We started spitballing explanations. Owl decoy? No, too tall, too human-shaped, and no branches nearby for it to perch on. Optical illusion? Maybe. But how were we both seeing the same thing in the same place? We tried to rationalize it, desperate to make it something ordinary. And then it moved. Not a lot, just a small shift. Like it was adjusting its weight or leaning forward. But it was enough. We both gasped at the same time. That quiet breath of terror you don't mean to let out. No more games, no more doubt. We didn't speak, we just looked at each other, wide-eyed and pale. My brother raised a hand. On 3, he said. 1. We didn't wait for 2. We ran. We bolted down the road, our footsteps pounding the gravel like war drums in the dead of night. We didn't speak, didn't look back. Something in our bones told us not to. That looking back might confirm something we weren't ready to accept, or worse, invite it. I don't think we've ever run so fast. The entire way back to the house was a blur of panicked breath and slamming hearts. When we finally reached the porch and slammed the door shut behind us, we stood in the entryway, gasping for air, barely able to speak. Our parents never woke up. That was the first time we saw it. There were other sightings after that, some clear, some worse, but that first encounter, it changed everything. The air in those woods never felt the same again.